The create line string command is also part of the field data edition. It's similar to a polyline, but it provides actually a lot more functionality. It's on the CAD tab, and it's going to be this command here under lines called Linestring. We can give it a name just like we would any other object that we're creating. So I'm going to call this centerline, and I'm going to put it on a layer called centerline. You can put it on whatever layer you need to. You can control how the line style is defined, whether it's by layer or by defining it here. You can also define the scale and also tell it what color you want it to be drawn, whether it's by layer or a specific color of choice. There's a couple other definitions here depending on what you're doing, whether you're doing a sharp texture boundary. This gets into surfaces, soft or sharp. So we're just going to leave it as sharp for now. Extend vertical will extend the vertical slope of the line, or the end of the line, to have an elevation and not drop to zero based on the previous vertex. And then you can also have it set up to auto close. So I'm going to click OK, and it's going to go into the actual line string creation command. So initially we have a horizontal tab, and just like putting in a polyline, we're going to put in a coordinate. So if I was to type in, let's say 10,000 space 20,000, and then tab, and then put in elevation, and then hit save, it's going to put in that point at that particular spot and location, coordinate and elevation. Now from here I can draw my next point. So it's asking me what the next input would be. So I can just pick it, or I can right click and use my bearing distance, bearing, or other options. So if I was to come in here and say I wanted to go at 45 degrees at 500 feet, then I can do that, and you can see that it's going to create that object or that segment. Now you'll also notice that now I have a vertical tab. So right now, if we take a look at the line string, you can see that I'm still in a drawing mode. Right? If I hit cancel, now I come into an editing mode, and you can see my first point has an elevation at the vertex of 100. This point here has an elevation of question mark or undefined, and then this one here is also undefined. So I could set a vertex elevation at this point, but don't really care what that vertex elevation is. I want to have a vertex elevation maybe at this point here. So what I can do is come in and set that elevation to be 125, and now this elevation here at this particular point is still undefined, but it is being projected through and has a constant slope. So what the vertical tab allows me to do is actually put in a vertical elevation point anywhere along this line. All right, now at this point here, what I can do is just click that distance along that line and then define the elevation. You can see the elevation gets picked up from where I selected. I'm going to rotate this up into a 3D view here and split it so you can see what's going to happen. So the elevation here, let's say I drop it down to 90 and I hit save, then what it does is it puts in the elevation at that point of 90 versus what it was, which is 119. Now it's kind of hard to see in this 3D view, but if I come back here, hit cancel, and then I edit this point, let's drop it down to like 25, you can see that it actually changed over here. Now again, if I exaggerate it, you can see that there is a break in that line vertically but not horizontally. Now you can also put in a vertical curve. So if I wanted to have a vertical curve through here, I could do something like this with a 200 or 2,000 foot length of curve, and now I put a vertical curve along that 3D polyline. So basically, if I was drawing this as a center line, I could draw it as a line string, but putting in curve, not only horizontal geometry but curve geometry. You can also add a VPI somewhere along that line. So if I wanted to make let's go ahead and put another curve in here, or another point, I can choose how I want to get there. So I can say I want the elevation to come from the incoming slope or the outgoing slope or an offset slope. So there's a lot of different tools and a lot of different ways that you can draw this line string. But basically the line string is part of the field data edition.